Hi everyone. Um, Another random live today. I want to talk to therapists and energy healers and people working in modalities where they're delivering a therapy-based service to clients that have, so you have an online presence, you have a website, you possibly have an online shop where you're selling therapeutic products, or you are able to offer clients an online booking facility, as well as the ability to run your consultations online. What's prompted me to do this Facebook Live today is I've had 2 questions from therapists in 2 days about whether or not the website terms and conditions that they need to have on their website is sufficient to cover them for their disclaimers as professionals, as people who deliver a therapeutic service of some description. It's quite alarming that the lack of knowledge or the lack of understanding around this area, and this live is to clear some of that up. Firstly, there are different types of disclaimers. So your website terms of use does contain a disclaimer. However, it contains a disclaimer about the information that you provide on your website, so that it is not confused or taken as individual advice. All therapists in all different modalities would be addressing that disclaimer quite differently, depending on their service or depending on the content of their website. The second type of disclaimer that's relevant to therapists and healers, etc., would be their own professional disclaimer about the service that they're providing to a paying client. Okay, so this particular disclaimer does not sit on your website. It is not part of your website terms of use, because your client is your paying client. It needs to be made available to them when they are booking their consultation with you, which means you need to have a client agreement that covers the relationship between you and the paying client. The client agreement is not your website terms of use. Your website terms of use deals with your website. It deals with the structure of your website, the framework of your website, the content of your website. It is about the relationship between the visitors to your website. The website terms of use is the contract between you and the visitor, the general visitor to your website, who may come on for 2 seconds, who may come on for 5 minutes, who may or may not continue to book a service with you. The minute they book a service with you or they buy something from you, they become a paying client. Your relationship changes. The contract between you and that client is no longer represented by the website terms of use. It needs to be represented by another agreement, i.e. your client agreement. It is very important that as a therapist or a healer or the deliverer of any type of modality where you deliver a therapeutic service of any kind, that you understand this, because the disclaimer that protects you is part of your client agreement. It is not part of your website terms of use. So it's really important that you take away from this video today that there is a separation, that you understand that different people have different relationships. People that visit your website are covered by website terms of use. People that book and pay us for a service with you have a different relationship with you, and therefore it must be represented by an agreement that describes that relationship and what goes on within it. It is in that document that you will address your professional disclaimer and explain to the client what service you're providing, what service you are not providing, what interpretation they can take from your service, what interpretation they cannot make from your service, what their therapy does provide, what your therapy does provide, what it does not, and what other professional services that your service cannot replace or be taken in comparison with, or be mistaken for. It's really important that these things are covered in your individual client agreement, the document that clients will look at before they book and pay for your service. The client agreement will also include things like how long your session will go, what's included, what they need to do, the client's obligations, your policies about payment, refund, cancellations, rescheduling, any intellectual property issues, if you are providing them with reports, with designs, with anything like that, it needs to be covered in the client agreement, not in the website terms of use. It's a very clear demarcation, and it's always quite interesting that people try to put all their responsibilities within the one document. It simply is not. It's not possible. It doesn't make sense in terms of being, legally covered. A client will not go looking for that information that is dealing with their consultation with you personally in the website terms of use. They will expect that information to sit at the Pay Now button when they book and pay for the consultation with you. So it's very important that you know what disclaimer you need, which document it sits in, and where that document should sit. So I actually have had two, as I mentioned before, two inquiries in 2 days by therapists of different modalities, really believing that that document, the website terms of use, covers their professional conduct with a client that has paid for a service with them. So, the purpose of this live is to clear that up. You need to understand, it's very important that in your business, one document is not a one fits all. You do need to understand different transactions in your business, different relationships in your business, and to make sure that your documents properly reflect that. That's all for today. I plan to do lives so that I'm answering particular questions for clients, and this was the one that came up this week. I don't know what will come up next week, but whatever it is, I will jump on and I will explain what it is that I'm doing and why I am giving the advice that I am. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to put them in comments or email me directly. I'm more than happy to answer. My excuse me, I have put in a business checklist, business legals checklist that covers everybody, all types of businesses, for solopreneurs that need all the different types of documents that you are likely to need, and why, in the comments below. So that's where the link will be. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.